Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all today to today's episode of Loud and Proud podcast. Today, I'm privileged to have one of the Toko usos that I've known for a long time, since intermediate, I believe.
Yeah.
In high school. And it's a privilege to have you on board today. John Pulu, currently directing as well as presenting on Tangata Pacifica at the moment. But I won't explain too much. I'll let you do most of the talking. So John, thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself to everyone, man.
Malo soifua, kia ora tātou, malo le rei nisan bulu vinaka. It is an honor for me to be here. And good to see you.
Yeah.
It's been years and you still look amazing. He still looks the same when I remember him from high school when I used to eat his lunch. But we're moving right along. I'm very, very, very honored to be part of this, and a big aloha iorana to all your viewers and listeners who are tuning in. This is a wonderful opportunity, and I'm just so humbled that, out of all the amazing people, you've lowered your standard to have me on your program today. So thank you so much for allowing, a commoner like me to be part of your program. But once again, thank you so much.
No worries. So how's 2020 been so far for yourself, John?
2020, I'm deleting it from my memory forever. What a tragic year for everyone, and my heart and thoughts are with those who are, finding things very hard right now, because I know, it's impacted us on many levels.
Yep.
And particularly our Pacifica families. We live with many challenges already, and COVID-19 has just highlighted, how hard it is for our people when you're talking health, employment, you name it. Our people have many things that they're juggling. So, I hope everyone's hanging in there. I know it's been a tough year, but let's keep praying and hoping that things get better. And also my thoughts go out to our families who are tuning in from overseas as well, who are experiencing COVID-19. Yeah. We are very lucky here in Aotearoa, and I thank, our leaders, I thank our Heavenly Father, first and foremost, for leading us and, guiding, giving us the wisdom to, overcome these many obstacles. But overall, it's been a challenging year, but I'm very blessed that I am still working. I have a very supportive family and a community that I love to serve.
Yep.
So, if there's one thing, I must just say thank you to all the frontline workers, those in the sectors that had to work. So thank you very much to you guys for your service to make sure that others are okay. And
a lot of respect and love to those people as well.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the better things of being situated in New Zealand is that we did get to firsthand see. Obviously, it wasn't ideal going back in, but, going into level 4, I don't think if we had this conversation maybe 10 months ago, I don't think there would have even been a slight possibility of even thinking that we'd ever be in a country lockdown.
Yeah.
And I think we can say for our generation, this is the first time it's ever happened.
Ever experienced, with our ancestors, our parents, they grew up in a time where there was natural disasters.
Yeah.
And now we're going through this health crisis during our time.
Yeah.
And, it's been a huge learning experience for everyone. Going into the lockdown, everyone panicked. We went for gold, trying to find the toilet paper. Tulo, sorry to my sisters. And, other essentials, fighting over hand sanitizers.
Yep.
And we got creative with making our own masks.
Yep.
It's been a lot of learning, but I think it's made us more aware of what to be prepared for in case something like this happens. And I don't want to think about it, but I think we have to be prepared in case there's another wave of maybe it's not a health thing, but maybe it's like a famine or something. We just don't know. In this very forever changing world that we're living in right now.
Yeah. I think for me, what caught most of everyone off guard is like being in a time where technology is a lot more advanced for us to be set back this far. Like you said, our people have gone through natural disasters, whether it be obviously here, like we've had earthquakes, we've had cyclones, we've had tsunamis, as every natural disaster there is under the sun, and we've never had to lock down the country, and that's not only just in New Zealand, but that's abroad in the Pacific as well. So that was one alarming thing for me. That make the reason why I bring that up is because, like you said, like there might be something else further down the line. Maybe it's a famine. Now, like,
whatever
how do we adjust? You know?
Yeah,
And,
I think we what we've learnt in this COVID-19 year, take it on board, because this might. I don't want to I want to be optimistic about the future, but if we're thinking about the future, we have to be prepared.
Yeah.
And now we know what to get from the store to make sure that it lasts for not just 1 week, but 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and a month. So yeah, it should be a learning experience for all of us to take on board, and also teach our younger generation to be mindful of these things and being smart with how they use the flour. I went to the supermarket, no flour. Apparently everyone was baking, during the lockdown. I was like, whoa, is there a bake-off or something?
Yep.
How come you haven't invited me? But it's a whole lot of learning, and I hope people still and honestly seriously take that on board for years to come.
Oh, nice, John. How's family?
Family's well.
Yep.
Yeah, so my mother is, she's happy that the lockdowns happened, because I do a lot of travel, and thankfully with the work that I do as a broadcaster, we get to travel around New Zealand and around the Pacific and the world. Well, very, very blessed to do that. So she's happy that the lockdowns happened, because it means I'm home. So, she's just happy we're all here, everyone's safe. I know that we have extended relatives who have passed, during the lockdown, and very sad time, especially, in our Pacific, where we all want to be there to afi or support, those who have passed or people who are going through tough times. But she's happy I'm home. Yeah. So everyone's healthy in my family, and
that was a bit like my family. So it was a bit different, because my parents actually got locked down in Sa.
Really?
The first lockdown. So
lucky them. I want to be locked down in paradise too.
Now I was locked. Lucky for my dad. Well, not so much for my mom.
Is she the one that wants to come back?
Yeah. Oh, she missed the kids. Hey.
Oh.
Yeah. So
you in particular.
I'm
guessing.
Yeah.
No, it's
not the grandkids, but
actually, she's here. No. What were you saying before now?
Yes. So they missed the last ship from Savai'i to Pulu. So
Your family's in Savai'i.
Yeah. Oh, so I've got so my dad's family is in Savai'i, my mom's family is in Pulu.
Right.
So they missed that last ship.
Savai'i.
Yeah. Beautiful. And then, but it was, so we didn't get to spend quality time, especially during lockdown, with my parents. But one thing I did find was it was the first time. So my brother moved home for lockdown, and it was the first time all three of us siblings were all in the one household.
Family.
Yeah. And
it's really united families, eh?
Yeah. So that's probably one, I guess, silver lining to the COVID and being in level 4 lockdown is that this is not just me. I feel it's just a universal story for most of our poly families. Everyone finally getting to spend quality time with each other.
Because with work, school, and other commitments, everyone's always out of the house. My mum was happy because I was working from home, and it's one of those things that we came to New Zealand for a better future, and with that comes all that time away from home. But it was really nice.
Yeah, it's funny that
it was a silver lining.
Yeah. It's funny you say that as well, because probably when our parents moved over, they've just been in this non-stop cycle of working, and then it's probably obviously something that we've inherited, the work ethic. So obviously finish schooling, work, and then start giving back. We've never had life put on hold, obviously, whether you had bills or not, obviously those were always going to be there. But I think
I wish that was on hold too. Hey, wouldn't that be lovely? Yeah.
But I think just life in general being on hold, that was.
It made us appreciate how beautiful and how lucky we are here in Aotearoa, compared to other parts of the world. And one of the nicest things was seeing places where there was no traffic. And it was the air was clean, and you could really see as far as the eye can see. It was so nice. Yeah. Mother Nature must have been like, "Yo, thank you." I don't know why she had to be in an American accent. But, I say, "Thank you, Jesus." But that was one of the nicest things. Was doing our bit for nature. Anyway, I'm going to come back to my normal accent now. Back to you, sir.
No, that's okay. So, How's personal life? You
Good.
engaged now?
Yes, so engaged with the love of my life.
Nice.
So Alistair and I, so I met her at university. So I mentioned to you before we started recording that she just talked to me for a few years, and I just got sick of it, and I gave up.
Yep.
No, I'm kidding.
The persistence of women, eh?
Oh, I tell you, no, it's hard for us, No. It is a struggle, yeah. Being this good looking. No, I wish. I'm only making this up, by the way, New Zealand. But so we met at university. So we both studied the same thing. And, we later years, fast forward a little bit later on, we were both single at the time. And then we worked together. And then one thing led to the other. She continued to harass me and stalk me. And I said, okay, then.
Yep.
Fine. So, I got down on my knees a few years ago now, 2 years. And I paid her to say yes. So I said, if you don't say yes, no, I don't know who you are. No. But, so we're engaged now. And,
nice.
It's a blessing that I've got this beautiful girl who loves me and loves my family, loves God. So, it's one of those things you want to, for me, in my list of, my companion in the
Ticked
future.
all the boxes.
Yeah, so
nice.
Yeah, and now she just pretty much annoys me every day now. So you're not going to show her this interview, are you? She's going to kill me. It's we both work in the same industry, so we both work together at Tangata Pasifika, so that's where we met. She's recently moved to work on Fair Go on TV1, so she's one of the journalists on that program. So. Yeah, really, really proud of her, and to see her, progress from where we first met. And so not married yet, so we're still planning.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's some account number on the bottom of the screen if you know. The graphics.
Fund me page.
Did you put that on your interview, please? If that's all right. Soon, I'd love to get married.
Well, hopefully borders open up. Yes. Are you guys looking to get married here? Because I know she's of Rarotonga.
Yeah, so she's a cookie Māori. So we both decided that I think New Zealand is the middle ground.
Central place, yep.
For everyone, because we have family all over. So would love to have everyone here. Even though I can hear the dollar signs just going ding, 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 ding. But would really love to have our friends and families all together for that celebration.
Yeah, what would that have been like if... So, obviously you guys have already put the planning ahead to getting married. What's that like?
It's to be honest, it's been hard to try and wiggle down to a number that we are both happy with, because it is so hard in our culture. Because you go to things and people are like, when's my invite coming? Like, invite to what? No.
The ones I laugh at is the no kids, and then you see the whole line of kids coming,
and they all come on it. That's that is also the concern of our planning. So. It is going to be a very tough call for us, but I'm sure people understand that, I'm not a millionaire. I can't pay for everyone to come. So I want it to be small and intimate, just very close family and friends.
Yep.
And plus, we have a lot of family overseas, and, they'll have to pay to come here. But, I think when it comes to weddings and that, people will just pay to come. So we'll see how it goes. But it has been very, very hard for me to decide on who. My better half is better at saying, no. Yep. But me, I'm like, can we have? What about that guy? Who's that guy? Can he come? Invite everyone.
Oh well, I think as males, we probably don't stress out at that as much as as females do, because like we all know that the wedding is the bride's day, I guess. But no, that's pretty cool, man. So, how long were you guys? So 2 years before engaged?
Yeah.
How long were you guys?
We were friends first.
Oh,
and
nice.
That was the saving grace for us, was that, we knew each other on a, I guess, friendship level before we went into a more intimate level. So, which is cool because, she understands the kind of work that I do because she's a broadcaster herself. And so she's had to put up with my, weird hours of travel or away from home. But, it's good when you find someone that understands and supports you. And I also do my best to, be there for her.
Sorry, John. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, so I do have my immediate family. So I was raised by mum's younger sister as well. So
Okay.
in that family, there's three of them. And then my biological family, I've got a brother and sister.
Yep.
I also have another brother, but he passed away before I was born. So I'm very, very lucky that I've been surrounded by some good role models. So I look up to my older siblings. I'm the baby in the family.
Oh, nice.
Hence why everything's about me. And they wanted just to kick me out of the house as soon as they can. But no, I'm very very lucky to have them, just keep me on the right path. We all have our challenges, during high school and university days. We all want to be a bit of a rebel.
Yep.
But it's good to have, some good role models to keep us going in the right way.
Yeah. No, that's definitely good. I think even yourself just being here, because we're both born and bred in Otahu.
I grew up in Otahu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was born in Tahiti. No, I was actually born in Hawaii. No. No, I was born in the Kingdom of Tonga, the Friendly Islands. Born in Tonga, and then my father came here in the late 90s. Kia ora. Came here in the late 90s. He came to build a church on Whawona Road. So he was asked to come and build. It's like a
blue one?
fale. Yes, that's the one, yeah.
Nice.
So it's like a fale Tonga or fale Samoa shape. So we came, he came before us in the mid-90s, and Mum and I followed in the late 90s to come here and call New Zealand home. So we started off in Mangele, and then we came to Otahu, and Otahu has been home forever. So really love this place and the people in the community. Yeah.
Okay, so before we go on to talk more about your career and where you're at right now as an individual, what was your upbringing like?
Upbringing, it was a bit of a mix, living in Tonga, growing up there and then coming here. It was a little bit tricky for me in the beginning, to be honest, because, living in two worlds, coming from a very traditional Tongan culture and coming to Aotearoa where we speak English, we mix and mingle with other ethnicities. So that was a bit of a wake-up call for me. Learning and adapting to this new culture.
How old were you at the time?
I was about 9, 8 or 9 when I came.
You're old enough to understand the dynamics of.
That's right. So I do have memories of growing up in the islands and then coming here as well. But what I was really fortunate enough to take in as a boy in Tonga was that learning to work hard and appreciate what you have. Because growing up in the Pacific and in the islands, we don't all have the things that we are lucky enough to have here in Aotearoa, and I think that was a good learning experience for me to grow up in a place like that, and having my parents remind me about hard work. What you want, you have to work for it. Things that you need and things like that, you have to work for it. And that's always been what I follow from my parents. If you can't afford it, don't work for it. Don't try and find shortcuts to get it. And there is a certain feeling you get when you worked hard for it and you earn it. It just tastes better and sweeter when you worked and earned it. So so I was lucky enough to have that experience of growing up in Tonga. Also speaking in our language as well. One of the things that's very close to my heart is my culture and my identity. And then coming to Aotearoa and being blessed with the many friends, got to go to a wonderful school, Fairburn Road. Before that, Southern Park over in Mangele. Then came here to Fairburn Road in Otahuhu Intermediate, as well as the prestigious private school, Otahuhu College. Thank you. Enough of the round of applause. Too many round of applause. People at home are probably like, where is that school?
Private?
It's next to a not very popular school, King's College. No one knows that school. But anyway, so growing up here in South Auckland also taught me to be more resilient, taught me about, life and appreciating and working hard for things as well. Because, coming to, New Zealand, the land of milk and honey, there were still some issues that we face as a community coming to this new land as well. So, even amongst our Pasifika people, there was still tension amongst our Samoans, Tongans, Cook Islanders, Niueans, Fijians, you name it. And then also that, and then we're a minority compared to the rest of Aotearoa.
Greater
So
New
there
Zealand.
were
Yep.
always going to be, some teething problems. And even up today, unfortunately, some of those issues are still here. Some of the social issues, health issues, employment issues are still kind of continuing today. But we try our best with, the different works that we do to make sure that our families have a better outcome.
Nice. That's
Sorry, that was a long
No,
description
that's
there.
good because I think the passion that you probably showed it with regards to where we're from here in South Auckland, I think
Yeah.
most of the people that stay in South Auckland feel the same way, and I really commend you for representing South Auckland in the right ways. So, what was the role or the importance of culture in your upbringing?
So culture is very important for myself and my family because, that is my connection back to where we came from Tonga, from the Pacific. So culture has definitely been, a very integral part of my life because, it's my connection back to my ancestors and my existence, where I'm from.
Yeah, and whereabouts are you from in Tonga?
So my family, my father has Tongan and also some Fijian roots. I'm going to do the Fijian accent because they like to roll the R's. So Dad's got Tongan and Fijian connection, and my mom is just full Tongan. So my family is from Kolomotua in Tongatapu, the main island. So we're from town, and my dad has links to Hapai. That's where he's from, and also to the Lao group in Fiji, to my Fijian viewers who are tuning in right now. So yeah, that's my connection in the Pacific.
No, that's nice. So, growing up, it's Tongan church, and what
I
was?
was very fortunate, to experience culture every day in my home because my parents never really spoke English.
Yep.
And I think that was good for me. At the time, we were like, oh man, how come they don't speak in English? But it was, I misread that. And it was so good for us because it kept our language alive.
Yep, that's so true.
And we ate our Tongan traditional food. We dressed in our ta'awala and our traditional, shirts with Pacific patterns. We went to a Tongan church, Wesleyan church here in Otahuhu. And that was important for me because every day I was living and breathing my language and culture. And that has helped me with retention, with the retention of my language and my Tongan roots. Because otherwise, I guess if we were left home, and always just spoke English, and that'll just be a disaster for me and my family, and our way of holding on to our culture.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that was probably one of the benefits of maybe also staying in South Auckland.
Yes,
is that like I want to. It's almost like it's, even though everyone is a bit diverse within the community, but everyone's culture is so alive.
Yes.
And it's so active. Like even within primary and within intermediate, we're always doing cultural things at schools, and
we're lucky here in New Zealand that we get to do that. We have Polyfest. We have even in the ECEs, the primary schools. There's always cultural events for everyone to showcase and display their identity. And other places in the world don't do that as serious as we do here. And when we talk about Polyfest, oh my goodness, it's another level.
Yep.
And even the indigenous people of Aotearoa, the Maori people, they have their own version. They have the Te Matatini, they have other kapahaka competitions. So I'm very, very lucky. We're both lucky.
Yeah, we
live in a society where we accept diversity. Unfortunately, it's not always like that in other parts of the world.
No, it's definitely not. I think as well as within the education system, we're probably one of the only countries that allow the bilingual units, as well as preschool, which actually allow for for solely maybe Tongan or Samoan or whatever particular ethnicity to be the dominant language within that facility. So
I think it's fantastic. We've come a long way, though. It hasn't always been like that here in Aotearoa, and it's great that the way things are moving here in Aotearoa is that they're appreciating us.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That we're not just coming here like, oh, we take all the good things here in Aotearoa. We're actually giving back, and our people are succeeding, and they're showing up in really awesome careers. We're judges now. We're academics. We're doing really well in the sports field. Music, engineering, we're pilots, we're things like that. So this hasn't happened, just overnight. It's happened because the people before us, our ancestors, did all the hard work to make sure that you and I can have some nice clothes. We have a warmer house to be in. But there are still challenges ahead.
No, that's okay. Thanks for sharing that with us, John. So, we'll start moving into the next segment. We'll start talking about your career. So, take us back to the origins of what made you want to get into the TV industry. What were the steps that took you to where you are now?
Yeah.
And what were some of the challenges that you faced along the way?
Yeah. So when I was still at Otahuhu College, I was very, very. I'm always telling the story, and I do apologize if you already know my backstory. I did some work experience through a program called Gateway.
Yes.
At Otahuhu College, and that gave me an opportunity, because at the time, they were offering it, and they were just saying, there were just some jobs locally. And I was thinking, surely there's some other opportunities. And, at the time I was trying to decide what am I going to do after high school. And I wanted to do music. But I also saw the lack of positive stories in the media because during my time, there was a lot of negative stereotypes generated by what everyone saw on TV. And, it's shows like Police 10-7, Border Patrol, it's things like that. And, our people are always in the wrong light. They're always getting arrested. And it's not to say they were not bad people. We do have some people who do some bad things. But I wanted to also embrace the fact that we are successful. We can be in whatever jobs or whatever areas here in New Zealand. So that inspired me to think about what do I want to do in terms of changing that. And there is the saying of be the change you want to see in the world. And that, for me, was the turning point. I wanted to, help tell true, a more, uplifting, more correct way of showcasing our people, because we are hard workers.
Yeah.
And we work hard to get to where we are. So that's when I found Tangata Pasifika. That was the only Pacific show at the time.
Yes.
And at TVNZ on TV1. And fast forward to today, I went and studied AUT. And I did my broadcasting degree there, so majored in television. Then I went back to Tangata Pasifika, and I just paid everyone so I can get a job. No, I just went and begged them. No, so it's now 10 years now.
Nice, 10 years. Wow.
Been with Tangata Pasifika, and I've been so blessed, with the many opportunities, the places I've been able to go to, the access to things, like meeting world leaders, and also some really up-and-coming leaders, some young people, that we get to meet. And then we get to film it, and then we go and tell it to everyone else. So it's, definitely been a lot of learning for me, using media as my way of helping my community.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I never really thought about it that way. And no, man, like I said, man, so much respect for you right now. Like you're bringing a positive light to South Auckland, and I think the way you go about it as well. A lot of people, tend to beat it on the chest and represent. Like we are. Like we're all proud to be from South Auckland, but it's one thing to be proud and have a lot of pride for where you're from, but. I think the fact that you give back to our community is just as good as well. So, nice. So, what was studying like? See, for me, I know John on a personal level. Like,
don't tell them everything.
No. Like, what some of you may not know, John is a talented singer, talented drummer.
I paid him to say that.
Talented pianist. He's a talented actor. Like, even actor, like. Do you remember high school? Like some of some of the most funniest, some of the most best moments that I've ever had within the I used to take drama as well. Yeah. And some of the best moments I had was like just watching you do your thing. Like I think probably what we never realized as maybe South Aucklanders was there's a level of professionalism when you step into that arena. Yeah. And but I think you already knew that at the time. Like that's why, like even though when you're you're acting, like the seriousness you're put in a role, like it was never matched by anyone else. But like that's what made you stand out, whether your role was small or whether your role was big. Man, like
no, I thank you so much for that.
No, that's awesome, man.
Drama taught me to be confident.
Yeah.
A lot of the work that we do is standing up and trying to get my courage together to interview someone, or or doing public speaking. So that absolutely helped me. But also at school was teaching me, during our time, mocking was a big thing. You got to be ready.
Yep.
And that taught me how to be quick, and quick thinking, and it wasn't to the point where we were like really negative putting down, but it was always for humor. And, I think that's where I get it from, was when I was at school.
Yep.
Because you always got to be ready with, your lines or whatever. But, I really take my hat off to, the schools that we went to. I guess it could have been different. I could have gone down a different path.
Yeah.
But, I thank my Heavenly Father for, thank you, Lord,
that's
for the many blessings, and also the awesome people that's been there to say, don't do that, John, or, the people that's been there to pick me up when I've had a fall. So,
Whoa, no, it's your awesome school. What was some of them highlights that you had at OC?
Oh, I too many.
Yeah.
I think the school.
I think maybe not long after Gateway, you did like a little interview at school.
Yes, you were in that photo. Yeah.
I never want to see that photo in my life again, man.
So that was the cool thing about that work experience, was that we were able to actually, do it firsthand. So they allowed us to be the reporters.
Nice.
Instead of us just following reporters around, we were the actual reporters. And, that was good experience, because we got to, have the courage and, thinking on our head, what questions should I ask, and what camera angles should we get. And
because that was back in the day with the, the camera on the shoulder and everything.
Changed.
Yep.
Yeah, so much has changed. And here we are. Look at you, Flash.
Flash with my phone now.
This is the iPhone 13.
Yeah. It's not out yet. It's not out yet.
Everyone has 12. It's like, old. We're up to 13 now. So all those little things that I did through school, and that has eventually helped, shape the way I think and the way I am right now.
No, nice. What was like the dividing factor? Because obviously, like I said, like multi-talented. You had music. See, for me, I think with your persona, no one really knows that you're a badass drummer. And what I mean by badass, like,
honestly, I'll pay you for these compliments.
You know, one of my highlights at do you remember what's his name? Pa.
Yes,
Leo's little brother.
Amazing drummer.
Man,
he played everything.
But no lies, you guys had like a drum battle in school that I reckon, it should have been recorded. It wasn't. Yeah. Like one person had
won.
No. No, I think the thing that was mean was like one person was on a drum kit and and you started on the table.
Yes.
And then you got up, and like the music school played, and you swapped over.
That's drumming for me. How I first started was tapping.
Yeah.
I was doing this, and then upgraded to the actual drums. I'm like, whoa, hang on. I love rhythm. I love music. I love music with harmony, and I love music with great messages. It's just a beautiful, powerful thing. Music is, and it can really change a person. Like I knew you were gonna do something that along the talents that you possess. I just didn't know what it was. And to be honest, I never thought it was going to be television, because I thought you would be You thought I've got a face for radio. That's what you really want to say right now.
No, for me it was badass drummer or you're singing
or modeling.
Oh modeling.
That never worked out.
Oh man, imagine all the stalking that would have happened. You would have had females left, right, center. No, but like getting into television, like what was one of the dividing factors that separated everything else to focus on that?
It was very hard for me. I wanted to be a drummer, because drums is my main instrument. And I told my mum, I was like, I want to play in a band and travel around the world. She's like, no, go and get a degree. And, so education was always the thing for me. And, you can only do so much with the drumming. Well, from my perspective, with the drumming, but, sometimes it's not always gigging all the time. And, she just told me, we're looking at stability, at a job that will keep you going. So, so after I became an All Black, I'm just black. So I went into study at AUT, really awesome experience. I struggled in my first year of going into university.
This was what I wanted to highlight on. The jump from OC to tertiary education was massive for myself as well in the first year.
Yeah.
And like, I think it wasn't until second year that I finally felt a bit more confident.
Right.
I don't know.
I know my way around now. I can know what to do. So
what was it with you? For me, it was more like the learning, like not the learning. Like I didn't know how to. I was never used to doing internals, like percentages, and then it'll lead to the final exam. You know, I think we were one of the first ones to do NCA, so we were. I was just so used to just get achieved, you know.
Yeah.
Or but like everything else started counting up, and
I struggled with pretty much everything. It was a whole new world for me.
Yep.
You know, I can do the talking, and things like that, but it was the literacy
Theory,
and all that. Because being a Tongan speaker and English as well, crossing between, sometimes I always get mixed up, and I didn't do enough reading. I'm a proud Duffy role model, and I encourage reading. That's what I tell the young students. Reading is so important.
It is.
It helped me to get to where I am. But, at school, and then I did what I can. I hated maths, but I did what I did to get me through to get my UE. So I got through, and then, writing essays and analysis of stories and, breaking that down. And, oh, my goodness, it was an eye-opening experience for me, and but it taught me, because now I read every day. I get paid to read.
That's true.
And speak and things like that. So it's a whole full circle. I've come from someone who actually didn't really enjoy reading or writing to doing something that this is my career. This is what I do every day. No,
awesome. So what was uni like in terms of the culture within that particular industry? Like, obviously you hadn't stepped foot, you just got a bit of a taste through work experience. But correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's not really a Pacific dominated study.
I did feel a bit lonely, because when we left school, I had a group of mates who were like, let's go and do broadcasting together, so we can all be or still be friends and do the same thing. And it didn't work out that way, unfortunately. So I was the only one that kind of just stayed,
stuck by it,
and was very serious about it. And but the good thing is, I look back now and I'm really thankful that I did it, because it really burst the bubble for me that everything that I knew at the time was just Otahu and Manukau City, and that was it. But for me, when I burst the bubble and then I went that way, every morning I caught a bus to go into the city. It actually allowed me to meet people from different parts of the world. It actually opened my mind to whoa, there's another way of dressing up, or a different way of interacting with other people. It really opened my horizons in terms of just growing as a young person at the time. So that's what I encourage our people, is that don't feel like this is it.
Don't be afraid of new experiences.
This is your community, and this is where everything's going to be for the rest of your life. No, give things a go.
Yep.
And even trying out different foods.
That's one thing. That's one thing I've done at uni was. Look, I never had a proper kebab before. I've never had a proper butter chicken. It was
just the pies every day. And as
pies,
you can see, this is the result of having pies every day.
But that's it, man. It's so true. Like it's a culture shock, even though it's within the same city itself. But you're right, man. We only knew so much.
It helped me with my growing up and maturing, because you're more responsible, because you weren't always getting pushed by your teacher. It's like, John, you need to hand in your assignment now.
That's true.
It was me. I had to push myself. So that was the whole part of
maturing.
Experience of growing up.
That's so true. Because not like back at high school. Everything was, you've got a lecturer just steps into a class, doesn't know anyone on a personal level, just does the lectures and then out, and then gives you a due date of when your assignments are handed in. So
it really taught you a lesson in life. It's like, if you wanna do it, you really have to put in the hard work to get it. So a little lesson there for you kids who are listening in from home.
That's really good to hear, man. Because since you've been in the industry, have you seen a lot more growth in terms of numbers of Pacifica people coming
absolutely.
through the industry?
Broadcasting, it's always been very small.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to see the growth of Pacific people and, the health sector. We've got surgeons, we've got doctors, a lot more now. We've got pilots, we've got, people in different fields, and also people that are coming up in the STEM subjects as well. So there is still a push for people to take up, the science subjects, the engineering and things like that. But we have definitely come a long way.
Yeah.
A lot of people came to Aotearoa with the vision of just being a doctor, a dentist, or, all the accounting jobs. That was it. But now our people are owning businesses. We are leading the way. And so I've seen the change in the growth of our success stories in different sectors.
Well, what about within the sector that you're currently in at the moment?
Broadcasting is definitely growing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'm hoping, people that are watching now are feeling inspired to, maybe perhaps do their own podcast. But, we're seeing the likes of Fresh TV.
Yes,
the growth of, even people such as yourself who's broadcasting from home. We are in a day and age where we can easily access these, tools and materials that we can do our own thing. So it is so awesome and very vital in terms of telling our stories, because this is one way, and adapting to the environment that we're in now. This is storytelling in the modern day.
Nice. So growing up, John, like obviously to get you through studies or to get to where you are now, who's been your like main influences, or what have been your key driving factors in your growth?
I think back, and it's always been my parents from day one. That's the reason why I'm doing this. This is my way of saying thank you for the sacrifices that you've made for me. So that drives me. But also, I'm driven by the fact that I want to do something that betters our community. So that's what keeps me going. Is that I've maybe done a little story that's helped someone to change their thoughts or thinking from maybe a sad situation to a much happier one. Also advocating for our community. I love being the voice for our people. I've done stories where I've helped a family move out of a garage into a proper house.
Nice.
That's the reward for me.
But that's self-rewarding stuff that, like, no amount of money could ever make you feel, right?
When you know that you've made an impact in someone's life, a positive impact, I sleep better, and I feel, that's maybe why God gave me this, this responsibility, using media as a tool to help and give back. So I think that's for me is the big, that's what I get out of it.
Nice.
And I love it because we have a great community. We still do have our challenges, to be honest. There are people in our community who choose to do some bad things, but, it is our responsibility to say, hey, you're not doing the right thing. Come on, let's be, work. They say it takes a village. So, let's come back and work together.
Yeah, like, especially like, just because your team wins doesn't mean you go and block the whole roads of Otahu.
Who does that, eh?
And then
that's disgusting.
Beep the horns all the way to 2 o'clock in the morning.
That? No. That was a funny experience, and it made headlines everywhere, and even internationally. How this whole team, Mate Mā Tonga team, we're talking about the National League team of Tonga, how they really just uplifted a community, and I met non-Tongans who were even proud of it as well.
Like there'll be people great in rugby league that will go down in history that can't say that they've changed a game. They changed the game.
What an impact.
Yeah. So
what a historic...
all those players will be etched in history forever in terms of changing the culture within rugby league, changing like it's okay to go against the greater powers or the tier 1 nations. And
it's funny when that happened. I saw the amount of proud Polynesians and proud Tongans from around the world. They were holding the flag, with pride, because there was a time where with all the negative stuff, it was like bit ma, what a coconut, what a fob, tulo, using these terms that are kind of like really sad. But now it really uplifted our people, and seeing young Tongans, crying when we lost. It's really nice to see how proud they are, and really feel the pain that the boys felt when they lost. They felt it as well, and it was really whakamawhana. It was really heartwarming.
Because
to experience it.
Even like yeah, people were pissed off when they lost. But I think for me, what made me like realize, nah, this is a different wave or movement in itself was like, even though they lost, like, you guys celebrated like you guys won, and I think it was more just on the back of how proud with their efforts. And the thing that most islanders do get in a bad habit of is when we lose, like we tend to turn on the players and
the blame game.
The blame game, and we put them into a negative light, or and then start using derogatory terms to describe them. But like that's
you know what I think it's good that we experience loss as well, because we need to learn to be good losers as well.
That's it.
And not
That's
just,
it.
We can't just be the amazing team and win all the time. So it's a good lesson for us to learn as well. It's good that we did win and we did so well, and I'm so thankful and really proud to be Tongan because of the hard work those boys put in.
Yeah.
But when we lose, we also need to embrace it. We lost. It's part of life.
We're
not always going to win, and that's what happens. There's always going to be a team that's going to win, and there's a team that's going to, obviously not going to win. So that's just the way it is.
Oh, cool. So, we'll segue into a different topic. So obviously within your career, you've worked with worked on many projects. The one I'm more familiar with is what I watched through the week was Cover Commune.
Right.
Yes. And then
one
there
of
were
my projects at uni.
Yeah, uni. Yeah. And that was pretty cool. What's funny is that anyone else that would be watching would realize that's all shot in Otahuhu, but they'll be like, "Oh, that's the islands," there was another project. What was that like for you? Obviously, like you said, you're at uni and you're shooting that project.
I was the only Pacific person in my class at the time, and everyone else is doing other things that I guess everyone already has seen, and it was quite a new experience for when I was pitching the story. I was like, oh yeah, so in our culture we get together once a week. We congregate around a kava bowl or kumete in Tongan, and drink the kava and share stories, and like, really? What is that? That is so new to us. So I know, others may have seen it, but during my time, my lecturers and that, they were really interested in this, part of our culture that's still alive. And I said to them, this is something from ancient days. It's a beverage from the ground, and that's been refined and whatnot. So they were really surprised. And when I worked on that project with my Palangi mates, I was like, okay, this is what we do here. And so recorded the band and recorded people drinking and consuming the kava. It was a whole different experience for them. Yeah. And that for me was also another factor that made me think about, this is where I want to be. It's not only showcasing our culture, but it was helping to preserve our people's stories and our history. And, you think about in the early days with our stories, we were orators, it was shared, by telling stories, it was written. But now that we have this medium of television and radio, we can hold on to our stories that way. And, this might be a helpful resource to someone one day. So if you're watching this interview in the year 2050, because that's how long the story is going to be hanging around for, it's really nice, to be part of history and capture history. Because for other Pacific cultures, this is one of the, I guess, solutions to their language that's slowly declining. So I'm talking about the smaller Pacific groups like the Niueans, the Tokelauans, that are facing language challenges. So if they do this and record their stories, this will definitely help them.
No, definitely. Yeah, that's so true, because you're right, man. Our people, like, it's stories that have just been shared down through a generation, and it's customs and traditions that it's almost been taught as second nature, and with the advancements in technology, it's a good way to help, the growth within our culture and within our languages. You worked on a different project as well. I think it was called Alo of Tonga. What was it?
Afo
of Tonga. Sorry,
yes.
I
modern Afo of Tonga. Yes.
The modern Afo of Tonga. Sorry, my bad. I tried to find something on it during the week, but I couldn't find any resource. What was that about?
So that was looking at the way our music has changed.
Nice.
So we come from Tonga with we sang with no instruments. The traditional no instrument. And then over the years, there's the introduction of brass.
Yes.
reggae music, hip hop. So I profiled a hip hop group as well as a reggae group. So I got to catch up with Three Houses Down and to talk to them about how our music traditionally started with no instruments to this new modern sound that we're doing that. So yeah, that was basically the gist of that little project, was talking to them about how our music. So afo is like another word for sound or music in Tongan.
Nice.
So it's the modern sound
Nice.
of Tonga. Yeah.
What was well, when did you do this project? Was this
That was my final year at
nice.
yeah,
At uni.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I wanted to really do something that a massive project like that. And being a muso myself, it was just second nature for me to be part of that and appreciate how we've developed our sound to where it's at today.
Yep. No, nice. So obviously you've been working in the industry now for 10 years. What are some of the highlights that you've got to experience? I know you're saying you get to sit down with world leaders and have talks, but what have been some of your highlights?
Man, I'm just thinking back now. I'm thinking of this year in particular because in previous years, we get to meet the politicians, the traditional leaders, church leaders, and be there when history happens. When something, I guess, massive happens in time that we're there. So that's one of the privileges as a reporter, that we're there when I've covered like natural disasters, funerals, weddings, elections, and it's been fantastic. It's been awesome. But thinking back to this year, I'm thinking of our COVID heroes. I've been lucky enough to do stories on people who have just said, I want to help.
Yep. Yeah.
So during the first lockdown, we had some volunteers who just helped and bought food, put it in a food parcel and handed them out to families who were struggling. Yes. So those are the people that I want to, commend and take my hat off to, because they deserve, the respect for, giving up their time. A lot of them, they didn't worry about being sick or whatnot. But these are just ordinary people who just said, I want to give back. So the highlight for me this year is meeting those people. Yeah. So in particular, they were in Otara and also, as well as Manurewa. So one was a church group out in the Methodist Church in Manurewa, and the other one is the team out in Otara. So so that's Scott and Swanee and the team.
Nice.
To pack up food to give to families who are struggling.
Yeah, and some of the good thing that those people are doing is, like, even till now they're still contributing to the community.
And I love that, because sometimes I guess we get a bit lazy. This is my opinion, but we tend to just rely on other people to do it for us. But this is our chance to give back. And what you're doing today can really make a huge impact.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I think if, like you were saying, and we've highlighted it before, it was one of the more difficult circumstances that our people have faced. So it was good for, some people who are already established or successful in itself and willing to give directly back to our people as well. So, even a small thing as a food parcel, but it goes a long way.
Just shows how much alofa you care.
And you're touching someone else's, like, obviously their heart and their soul that you've never met. And that's another amazing feeling in itself.
It really brought up the sense of community. We're talking about family, having that, but it was also caring outside of our own four walls of our own houses. So that was my love and respect to those people.
Oh, nice. So you've across your 10-year career so far with Tangata Pasifika, have you received any esteemed awards?
This is it. Yeah, this is the real. I think the real reward, as I mentioned earlier. $1,000. No. So yes, some back at university for diversity reporting. But what I get out of this is, seeing families happier.
Nice.
When you help a little person, grow up in a healthier home, that's for me is the best reward. That's why I love doing what I do, because we're lucky in a position where we can help push and influence, and create change. So we use it. I encourage people when they have this influential platform, because I know a lot of people are doing, videos, the TikToks and whatnot. Use it wisely for a better.
Definitely.
Not to use it to bring down people and to for other reasons. This is we're very lucky to have this platform, and we can really make a huge difference.
That's so true, because maybe it's just be more of the younger generation, or the ones that probably didn't have to go through the challenges that we had to growing up. But most of them now are just growing up with this technology side by side, and like you said, it would be good to see more and more of our people, because there are people who are would say social media famous, and to use it in the right way as well. But the award you got at university, the reason why that popped out to me was I just wanted to know what is diversity journalism.
So, thanks to them for acknowledging me in that area. I guess it's just reporting stories, from a diverse community or background.
Okay.
It's just adding to the, the other stories that's available, and that's the work that I'm doing now. Is hard to believe that we've grown up and know that Pacific is everything, but when you compare to the rest of New Zealand, we are still a minority. I think we make up 7% of the population here in New Zealand. So we are still growing as a community. But I love to embrace diversity. You think about the Black Lives Matter, all these massive movements. It's because of the race divide. And I want to continue embracing the fact that we're in this day and age, and we can work together and harmoniously as a community.
Nice.
United.
Yeah.
And vote for me if you know. That sounded really serious. Hey, where was I going with that? The election's over. I'm not even a politician.
No, that's fine. Oh, mate, hey, you never know.
Oh, touch wood. Next minute. Next election. No.
No, that's cool, man. Like I said, you've been in the industry for this amount of time. Like, what have you seen grow in terms of within the industry itself, or within Tangata Pacifica in itself? Like, what are the significant changes that you've seen across your time working with them?
I think it's I'm having more role models. During my time, I guess forgive me, this is just from my opinion, but we're seeing more and more Pacific role models, and it's not just sport. It's not just we have role models in the various sectors. I've been lucky enough to do stories on like a Tongan food scientist who failed school many times, and now he's a associate professor. He's it's stories like that. You get to hear and get to do interviews. So it's just seeing the growth of our people succeeding in different areas, and that's a good indication that our future is going in the right way, because we have some great people for young generation or young people to look up to. So it's just, I guess, highlighting the fact that our people are succeeding in various sectors, not just the one, but we are now breaking the glass ceiling, in various jobs and areas that were predominantly, I guess, in other ethnic groups and didn't have Pacific, and now Pacific is leading the way.
Nice, that's so true. Because even ourselves, when we were at uni, probably some of the people that we've seen to go ahead and strive and create paths for themselves, probably were people that maybe didn't even end up going to uni. They were, that's the good thing.
And sorry to interrupt, and that's the thing as well, because it's not a one size fits all kind of thing. It's great to have that type of learning, and environment. But there's a big push for people to go into the trades, because we still need other people to go in that area. But man, the uptake, people going into that area is fantastic. Yeah. And a lot of it is our people, and they're also owning their own businesses. So it's great to see that we're not just the workers, but we're also leaders. We're also the bosses, CEOs. So
what about working within Tangata Pacifica? What's been the main changes? Or obviously role changes, but just the dynamics in the workplace. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's good, and I tell you what, to work in a place that's lasted this long, because not every show can have that longevity, because sometimes funding comes, funding goes, and sometimes audiences, support and then they go. But we have been, I guess, very blessed to have a community that's been backing us.
Yep.
We've had ups and downs, really late hours at 11 at night time.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because
and now we're early on a Saturday morning. But our viewers and followers have been very, very loyal to us. I forgot to mention, I also work on radio as well, on Radio 531 PI, the station that brings Pacific. No, sorry. So I do a bit on the Tongan language program on that program on Radio 531, and it's just gone from strength to strength with our community following us, and we are now online. We are now internationally followed by our community everywhere around the world, because that's the power of the internet.
Yes.
It really connects us to our diaspora communities across the globe. Yeah, so that's the growth I've seen, with our people. And like I said before, we're seeing more of our people doing these setups of podcasts and, filming their own material. It's really nice.
No, that's good. That's good to hear, man. Cool, man. We'll touch on some more different topics, the topics that I know that you're quite passionate about. So we'll touch on some cultural issues that I reckon I think that are highlighted in our community at the moment. So we'll start off with the first one. First one is what is the issue with the cultural language within the different ethnicities, and is it dying? And if it is, how do we restore it?
It has to start from home. There's a saying in our culture that the first classroom is home. So we have to, as a family, work together and keep the language alive, at home. It's I've met families who have started labeling things at home in their language.
Nice.
So they can say to the children, go to the te pire, the kōpate, get me a ipu, se puni, things that in our language, but it's at the same time they're taking it in. So it's one of the places where we can start. Another thing is, the surrounding yourself in your community. So it's going to a Pacific church that helps retain your language and your knowledge. And with our languages, it teaches us to be, the sense of values, Pacific values. Each culture has one, and also the sense of being respectful, So that's one of the beauties of being a Pacific person, because that's part of our DNA. That's part of us. So it's also going to the churches, allowing kids maybe to go to like a ECE school where they start speaking the language.
Yes.
Also great as well to help the language retention. Dressing up in your traditional attire, don't be shy. But I have a feeling now everyone's really enjoying the aloha shirts, that everyone's more, it's more open now, everyone can wear it. It's my uniform at work, so that's why I love it. I can just wear, Pacific attire to work, and, that's, so I think those are some of the things that we can do, start today, and then it just becomes normal.
Nice.
For young people to take it up.
No, 100% agree. It has to start at home, and I think it's got to be a willingness of both the parents as well as the child, and to, because there are some parents, maybe our generation, that probably didn't get to have that opportunity to.
Well, they were told not to speak our Pacific languages, and that didn't help with our language retention, because in the early days they were told, it was a little bit more divided back in the day, where they were told not to speak their language, so they were told not to, be Pacific. And so there's that generation that had that struggle in the beginning. And now there is a movement to allow young people to learn their language and hold on to it.
That's cool. Yeah. Because I know with, some of the earlier people that did migrate over, it was almost like a situation where you wouldn't get a job, you weren't I want to say accepted, but you weren't able to get into places if you didn't have any substance of the English language. And I think that was just some of the habits that they probably forced upon to their kids as well, and it was more
Speak English so you can get a job.
It's exactly.
It's different now, because there are jobs where they embrace bilingualism, so they want people who can converse in multiple languages. So that's why I speak 10 languages. No, I'm kidding. But I only choose to speak one.
No, nice. Oh, that's a very good answer to the first topic. So the second topic I want to bring put some light into it is financial literacy. Some of the struggles that we've experienced this year with COVID-19 and year 2020 has been probably financial literacy has been very say lacking and quite poor in our Pacific community. How do we address this? And pretty much how do we address this, and how can we improve or grow within?
I'm speaking, and I'm not the best person. I still, have my. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have bought that. I shouldn't. But I think it's just measuring up, what you need and what you want. I know it sounds cheesy, but COVID has taught us that, with being smart with the money that we do have, because some people lost their jobs, unfortunately, and so the income has kind of decreased, and so it's made life harder for some of our Pasifika families. So it's being smarter with, the money that you do have is one of the things that I do encourage our people, and, whatever you have, maybe start a little savings account, put something away for the future. There are those Kiwi Saver schemes as well to take part in, but also learning to say no, or maybe not now in our culture, because we have all our whalawe-lawas, we have our misinale, and it's learning to juggle and say, do I really need to put in that money, that money? It's not being selfish, and I say that with love and respect, but it's just being mindful, because it's different here in New Zealand, because we pay our bills here, but we also look after families back home in the Pacific, so we can't do everything. It's just my little word of encouragement to our kāinga, our ainga, to maybe think about the things that really matters. So it's prioritizing.
Nice. Prioritizing and balance. That's awesome.
It'll mean that we're not always ending up in, with the loan sharks and, all the places you don't want to end up.
Yep.
And then putting more financial strain in your family.
Nice. Breaking it a little bit, not off topic, but on the same topic, but not in financial literacy. How do we Pasifika families? I feel like they've been stuck in this the cycle of renting, and how do we grow financial literacy so that people can attain assets or attain housing for themselves? Because I feel like that was another massive not downfall, what's the word, like almost like a sad moment, like during COVID, was when like people started losing jobs, and then they couldn't like maintain having their own housing, and then like we already had the issue of poverty being at its worst within how can we how do we, obviously it's good to prioritize and good to have a plan, but how do we grow our literacy in order to
knowledge around it? I guess it just comes down to as I mentioned, prioritizing what is really, really important. If you're supporting a big family, of course you're not going to be handing out thousands of dollars to all the other things that you have responsibility for. So it's just knowing, juggling what really matters and what you must do, because I tell you, we do feel a lot of pressure being here in New Zealand, because we, as I mentioned, we still have family that's reliant on us. I'm talking about remittances to the Pacific. That's the lifeline of our Pacific countries, is all the money that's going in from us here, the workers here in New Zealand. And it's I guess it is a little bit sad that that we just came here to work to support. We also have to look after our families here too. We have a generation that's growing up here, and we also want the best for them as well. So it's just really refocusing your priorities and making sure that I'm looking after family here, and it's just being respectful as well of the people back home. We come here and we have a mortgage. It's not like the islands where things are a little bit different. We're a little bit more free.
The land's for free. You just pay for the bills.
And so living off the land, here we have to really buy everything. And so, that's just, and it is hard for our families. I do understand that it's not always the same for everyone. But, I would really like to see our families succeed, because, success is different for everyone. Success might be, I've got a cool job, or success is I've got a house. That's what success is. So I'd really love our people to success in whatever way, but in a meaningful way as well.
No, that's awesome. Another subject that I wanted to quickly touch upon is um, I'm not too sure if you've seen that recent video that's been released, and it was something that was attention to the Rock. Yeah. So that's about domestic violence within the Pacifica community, and it's so
Beautiful.
true. Yeah, it's beautiful, but yeah, it's something that I can be a testament. Like, it wasn't within my family, but I saw it growing up, and I'm pretty sure most families would have experienced that growing up as well. So within your prominent role within Tangata Pacifica, and from what I've heard, just with conversing with you today, like, it's all about shedding light on the positive stuff within our community, and making sure that all that's good within our community is highlighted. Would you guys ever go into, like, I wouldn't say like into that darker lane, but like a more serious, something that like people can there's people at home that obviously not looking for pride, but something to connect to. Like.
Yes. So I'll come to that. But one of the stories that I really, really struggle with covering is suicide. So that's one of the stories that I had to do during my time, because there was a period where it was just Tongans who committed suicide, young Tongans, and it was just one after the other. And it was a really, really tragic time for our community, and we were all feeling quite sad, and that was a reminder for us to stand up and come together as a community in terms of, like, man, this is an issue we need to fix. And part of it was talking about it, is opening up the door and saying, hey, this is an issue we need to talk about. So that was one of the topics that was I guess one of the in the early days that really woke me up. It's like it's happening in our community, and
it still is as well. And I don't know, it was mostly Tongan males, but I don't know what it is. I think for me is like, any time I hear of a Pacifica young male like committing suicide, it breaks my heart, because it's like,
I wish I was there.
To
reach out and say,
exactly,
hey man, come
like,
talk to me. So it's addressing it. That's the first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the first. Sorry to interrupt you, John. One of my close mates that I met through work, person loved Joe. What's the most common Niuean last name? What was it?
Ikinofo.
The Palangi one.
Oh, right. Gosh, I can't.
Oh man, forgot his name.
So he's a colleague of yours?
Oh no. So he used to come into work. He was one of my customers. But like I was real close with him, because like we'll just see each other every day, and he'd come and complain about his day or complain about my day, and I don't want to be sad or pay respects to his family, but he was such a lovely guy, and I think one of the weirdest things that like when he committed suicide was that one of his bosses came in, and like they were all distraught and they were taking it tough, but he's Palangi, and he said like and it struck me in a really weird way, because I didn't know how to react. What he said was, I don't understand, like Joe, or these Pacifica young males commit suicide and isolate themselves within these problems, but they've got the biggest support networks out of all people, and it's like, how does that happen, where like you feel so isolated and so alone, yet like we grow up around people, we grow up with our family, we grow up with our friends, and like
I guess it's the pressure. We came to New Zealand for your education, and that can be too much for some people. It's like, you either be a lawyer or but they want to be a dancer, they want to be a musician or something like that, but they can't do it because they feel this huge weight of pressure from family. Because that's one thing that I encourage our people. Hey, not everyone's going to be the lawyer or these traditional jobs that we all wanted. Of course, it's a great thing that our people, but our strengths might be in different parts and different sectors. So I think talking about it is one of the issues, one of the ways I think is going to address that issue, suicide. But coming to that family violence, it's so terrible, and a lot of it happens behind closed doors. We don't know about it, and And so I encourage those, or you might know someone, reach out for help, talk to someone who can ask for help, because most of the time they won't say anything because they're afraid.
Afraid of it.
So if you're going through it, please try your best to reach out for help, or not just help for you guys, but also for the person that's going through it. We want to be there for the person that's committing this. It's not a nice thing, and especially when our young people are watching it. Because what happens is the domino effect.
Yep, it's a vicious cycle.
My
dad did that.
Did it, and it's not the right way. So we have to just cut it there, and it doesn't continue. So talking about it and being honest with ourselves, and not just hey man, are you all right? The way, things like that. It's just starting the conversation that way, and doing it in a way that makes them feel like, oh yeah, man, what am I thinking? And because respect is part of our culture, and that should remain, and that should be a value, and I guess something that we should always pass on to the next person.
Oh, nice.
I almost forgot. One other tricky issue that my partner she covered was sexual abuse. Tulo, it happens commonly in our Pacific cultures, and I do apologize, but we have to say and be honest, it happens, and it's not nice. And a lot of people grow up with that anger and not say anything, and it can only result into something bad. So that's some of the issues that we've touched on as well. So it's hard. We call it whakaapa, the respect to talk about that, and you feel awkward going, I just want to talk to you about this problem. So it's not always easy to talk about, but we just have to roll out the mat, sit down, talanoa, come up with the solution and fix it. Otherwise it's just, if we continue to shut the door and it just continues happening, and you just pretend you don't hear the screaming or crying.
Now, the reason why I wanted to have a chat with you, I know you guys cover some of those stories, but probably not too much of an extent. But it's still starting the conversation, and it's still bringing awareness to it. How do we, as a community, and how do we, as a people, help to carry on that conversation? Like you said, bring it to light, have a talk. How do we ensure that it doesn't happen further down the line? Like you said, breaking the cycle. How do we ensure that happens?
Well, it's being honest about it and just saying, okay, I have a problem. I get angry or whatever it is, I have a drinking problem, I have a issue with drugs. It's just facing the reality of it and just being honest and getting help. Because I guess we, this whole story of, we're tough, we don't, it's not cool to show that you're weak. Coming from a culture and a country where
I was just going to say
warrior,
that.
You don't do that. So it's changing that.
And there's so many cultural barriers there, in the sense of what you should do is right, but it's like there's so many cultural obstacles. Like you said, whakaapa, you don't want to go in. How do you tread into someone else? Tread into someone else's relationship, especially with
And here in New Zealand, we're very supported by the various phone call centres, the many health initiatives. There's the police, there's the Ministry of Social Development. There are ways around it. So if your viewers or people that are tuning in right now, if they do feel that there is if they are or someone is going through some trouble, there is help.
Nice. Definitely is. Cool, man. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about today, John?
Thank you again.
No.
Thank you again, and I do apologize if you've zoned off when I talk, 'cause I tend to do that. People just but I'm very, very blessed to have this opportunity. Thank you so much to you and your lovely wife for having me here, and all the audience that's been here so quiet. Hey, everyone's so quiet they didn't want to make a noise. But anyway, you pay them well. But and I wish you the very best, you and your family, and whatever journey or our path you take from here. All the very best, and thank you for highlighting our people in our community. I know you're a desperado, that's why you asked me to come, but there are way better people, way smarter, good looking than me, but I'm very honored.
No worries. Well, we normally finish off our segments just with some quick fire questions.
Oh dear.
Yep. So answer it however you want to answer it.
Let me think deeply about your question.
So first question, if you had to sit down with someone, past or present, and let, I guess, with your expertise of journalism, and get to tell their story, who would that be?
My father.
Oh, and why?
He passed away.
Oh no, yeah, obviously, but like,
I would love to talk to my dad again. Okay.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
yeah, my dad would love to catch up with him again. And
Nice.
we're moving right along. You're emotional here, guys.
No, that's a good.
Yeah. Dad.
Oh, nice. What's your go-to feed when you go home? Like, what's your go-to home cook?
Yeah. So, man, as you can see, with my physique, I pretty much eat everything and anything. Locally, I'd go to the local food court.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So I like my Thai food. I like my island food at home. So, I'm talking sapasui, the island curries. And then I'm very bad at it, but I love carbs. I love my toast. I love, breakfast foods, because breakfast is important for me in the morning because it gets me going. Yeah, but I try my best to do as much exercise to balance that the amount of eating that I do.
No, that's okay. Obviously, you're a successful journalist right now. Would you ever get into news anchoring as well?
Yes, if the opportunity arises, but for me, I don't want to leave the work that I'm doing because I love it so much.
I know,
and I don't see myself in another non-Pacific television or radio program, because this is where my heart is.
Nice.
And, I get more from doing this because I just love the people that I serve.
Oh, that's awesome. What's your go-to island food when you guys have a function? Like,
yes.
What's your number one?
So I love my Fijian curry.
Oh, nice.
Because it's curry but with a Pacific style. I do like my lu.
Lu sipi.
Lu sipi. We have the lu povimasima. And then I also like the lu sipi pies that, we're modernizing it. We're putting it in a pie now.
Oh, I've never had that. Good.
Pie from Hapai. So, the way they're making it now, it's fantastic. So, that's my go-to. I love that. And we have the puakatunu, so that's been cooked
on spit.
The crackle.
Yeah.
Oh, the crackle. It's like over here on my body. Yeah, so no, I do enjoy some of our, our traditional food.
No, nice. Cool. Wow. Oh, yep. So if you were to describe your journey, obviously all the way from high school, Gateway, going through uni, getting your degree, working within Tonga Pacifico for 10 years, how would you describe that journey with 3 words?
It's a blessing for me to be doing this. It's a privileged position that we get because we're talking to the masses, whether it's TV or radio. So it really is a blessing to be doing what I'm doing, and never take it for granted. Because it's quite an important role that we get to play in people's lives, and so I feel very honored to do it.
No, nice. So from that, I'll say blessing, honored, and grateful, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Gosh, you summed it up really well there. Well done.
Yeah. I did say 3 words. I went
into like my thesis.
No, that's okay. No, well, what's in the future for John Pulu?
At the moment, I'm enjoying where I'm at the moment. Like I said, I don't see myself, maybe if it's something outside of broadcasting in the future, it'll still be Pacific related.
Nice.
So whatever role where I go to after this, because I can't be doing this for forever. I would love to, but I'll be wearing a different hat, maybe in working in the region, working outside of New Zealand, or working for the Tongan government or New Zealand government. That's where.
Any political aspirations?
There's been a lot of talks of that, but I think I'm not strong enough for politics.
You gotta have thick skin.
You really have to. But because I've been asked before to think about going into it, and I said to them, what I'm doing on television and radio is my way of
giving back.
Yeah, of giving back. And it's the same thing as you. You go and do it in the beehive, but I do it on television. So, we're still doing the same thing, advocating for the people without the voiceless people here in Aotearoa. But I'm just using media.
No, nice, nice. Oh well. Hey, look, John. Thank you
Vinaka.
for sparing up your time. I know you're a busy man. I like to say thank you, and it's truly an honor to have you as a friend. But have you as a friend upon the show to let us to have a sit down with us as well as and tell your story. If thank you for the work that you're currently doing and you will continue to do, not within the Tongan community, but within the Pacifica community as a
No.
whole. I know for myself, I sit here as a proud friend, knowing from where you've come from, as well as knowing you through intermediate and
I
high
feel the
school,
same.
and being the trendsetter that you are within your own industry, helping our own brown people succeed and strive, and seeing you on TV. It still baffles me because I always thought you're a badass drummer and a singer. And it truly shows that everyone's path is different, and no, it's never set in concrete. And again, I'm truly grateful and appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you so
No
much. You and your
worries.
team. Fafta.
Thank you,
God bless
thank you,
brother.
John.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you again for joining us today within Louder Brown podcast sponsored by Tamaleno Apparel. Feel free to jump on Instagram or on Facebook and give us a follow.
Oh, yes.
As well as John Nicholas Pulu
Whoa,
on
whoa,
Facebook.
whoa. Thank you so much. Please, one at a time.
Especially on Instagram as well. So yeah, make sure you give us and give John a follow. And yeah, thank you again for your time. Maguia Le Aso.
Tofa se fua.
Hey Yusuf, I'll never get the opportunity to say this to you in person, but thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for the knowledge that you shared with me in the brief time and journey that we became Usos. I'll never forget your smile, the way you used to joke around with me and the boys, and just your loud laugh, and just the way that you knew how to lit up a room. You just knew how to make a crap day into less of a crap day when we would just complain and obviously offload to each other, and reminiscing about the day and the weeks gone by. I'll miss our talks about family and obviously footy, and it sucks that you're not going to be around when the Blues win, but Warriors, I'll carry you with us. Um, Honestly, when we found out at work, I'm telling you, from the upper management in the office all the way to the boys down on the floor in the warehouse, everyone was crushed. Everyone was crushed because knowing that you've got a beautiful wife and beautiful kids, but knowing also that we've lost a good, no bloody great also. And I'm telling you now, to this day, your presence is still being missed. One of my fondest memories with you was obviously our opening party at Potter's. Yeah, you told me about the day that you've had, and obviously we just had a few quiet ones, but you know, despite the long day that you've had and the long week that you've had, the main reason you wanted to come out was to take out your wife. Obviously, she was having a rough week, but you just wanted her to come out and let loose and let her enjoy the moment and enjoy the time out. And to this day, also, she did, man. And that's just a testament to the type of guy you were. You were loving, you were caring, and you were always considerate of others. Never put a bad foot wrong, and you never cursed or you never said anything bad. You're all around top bloke. Also, I hope your family and friends aren't mad or upset at me sharing this about you, and especially the experiences that I had with you. Knowing that the wounds are still open and still tender. I hope that they're okay as well. That I sort of borrowed some photos of you just to share and let people know through the photos what type of guy you were, and just to have your memory everlasting. So this was episode dedicated to you. So just I hope you're still looking down on your kids, and that your legacy lives through you and your beautiful family. Always missed, and you rest in love also. Nalofa kumauso.